Hey y'all, this is my first YouTube video. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm here to tell my story about me and the coronavirus and how it all started. So let me just back up a little bit and tell you how I got here. So I live in the Philippines now, from the US, been in South Carolina, lived there my whole life, decided to jump on a plane, move to the Philippines. Boom. I plan to go back home. So I go home for Christmas break. As soon as I hit the plane to the US and I land, I am sick. So all of Christmas, I'm sick, stuffy nose. Finally go to the doctor. He's like, well, you've been in the Philippines. We don't know what you got. It could be the flu, but you waited too late to go. So he just gave me doxycycline, boom. But when I fly back to the Philippines, that same night, I end up getting on a plane to come to Singapore and Malaysia. What was I thinking? Thought it was a great idea when I originally booked all this because flights were cheap. I'm like, boom, I'll just go to the United States for 2 weeks. And then my third week of Christmas vacation, I'm going to go to some new places. So Singapore and Malaysia were great. I felt good. Fly back to the Philippines on Sunday. I wasn't even home about 2 hours or so before the volcano starts erupting. We're thinking it's raining outside. You can hear the thunder and everything. But actually, it's ash that's falling to the ground. Ash covers everything, all of our property. We end up having the school shut down for pretty much a week. So Thursday comes and we get a cancellation early on in the day. So we're like, boom, me and my friend, we decide we're gonna go to Taipei. Book at 2 o'clock, our flight leaves at 5. Make it to the airport on time, go to Taipei, have an amazing time. Well, Taipei said it was supposed to be 67 degrees. I'm like, okay, cool. But Taipei ends up being 50 degrees. So I'm freezing. Majority of the time I was in Taipei, I am cold, chilled to the bone. Get back to the Philippines on Sunday. Did okay, went to sleep, wake up Monday morning, my chest is killing me. I am in pain. I make it through the week. I try my best to. I sleep literally every day when I come home. It's just bad. I'm feeling terrible. Friday comes, I'm like, okay, taught my classes. I have to go to the clinic. Go down to the clinic. They're I just sent an email saying, hey, coronavirus is, upon us now. And so they list all the things. And I'm like, wait, I've been to, they listed all the places. They listed Singapore, Malaysia, United States, Taipei. And they listed all these things. And I'm like, wait, that's about every place. They had Thailand on there too. But hey, in this time frame, I wasn't in Thailand. I went to literally 5 countries in a month's time. So in about 3 weeks, I was in 5 different countries. So I was kind of freaked out about it. I had all the symptoms they listed in the email. Go down to the clinic. They're like, hey, you might need to go to the hospital. So they hook up an appointment for me to go to the hospital, get a driver, go to the hospital. Guy goes in. He's like, oh, yeah. I say, yeah, I've been coughing really bad, coughed up blood once, sneezing, all this stuff. He's like, coughed up blood? Oh, okay. So he writes me a prescription. It's 5 different medicines that I have to take. On top of it, he's like, oh, you have to do a sputum test. So you bring this in as soon as you get up in the morning. So I said, is that it? He just shoots me out the door. Yeah, that's it. So I leave. I go get all the medicine. It's a lot of medicine. So they're 2 of the medicines I got to take 3 times a day. One of the medicines I have to take 1 time a day, but it's a giant horse pill. Then I have to take this other medicine, very, very small, but it makes your heart speed up and all this stuff. So I'm taking all this medicine. It makes me feel crazy. So over the weekend, taking all the medicine, I do the sputum test, and Saturday comes. Do the sputum test. I get up at 5 in the morning, do all the cough, spit, blah, blah, blah. Do all that. Then I end up noticing that he says, bring it. It's there about 9:30ish. They're like, oh, yeah, we can't take these samples. I was like, what? Why can't you take these samples? Well, you're supposed to have it refrigerated. And I was like, well, he didn't tell me anything like that. He just said to spit it and bring it. So I was like, no, y'all have to take these tests. And he's like, oh, you have to bring it within an hour. There's no way I can make it from my house to the hospital within an hour because I live a pretty decent ways away from the hospital. So I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? So we have a liaison. She goes and talks to them. I was like, there's no way I can do this. I was them. They end up letting me do one of the tests there. So I go in the bathroom, hawk my lungs up. Okay, so they take it, good. So they're like, oh, you have to do another test because it's 2 days you have to do it. So the next day comes, I have to drive back there. So it's about a 45-minute drive up there to the hospital. So I have to do that every day, get up early to do that, on top of being sick and taking this medicine that makes you feel crazy. So I started looking up the medicines. I'm like, what is it? So I'm being treated for pneumonia. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I have pneumonia. Like, now it explains everything. Like, this is why I'm crazy. Maybe I don't have coronavirus. I just got pneumonia. Because he didn't even test for pneumonia, for coronavirus. I'm like, okay, I did go to those places. I explained to him where I was, the doctor, and I explained everything. But he was like, hey, like, he said nothing about the coronavirus. He was just like, hey, put her on these medicines. Boom. I had to do a TB test. I had to do an x-ray. All of those things. Didn't get any results back. Didn't tell me anything. I was like, so when will I know, like, what's going on? So still nothing from the hospital. Don't know what I'm supposed to be doing at this point. Go there Sunday, do the next sputum test, bring it to them. Boom, got that handled. So now I'm waiting to figure out, okay, when do I have a follow-up? What's going to happen? What do I need to do? And I'm like, I'm feeling a lot better. So I end up going to school on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'm like, look, I can't. Like, I just ain't gonna do it. So Saturday I have to go back for the follow-up. Because I'm like, what's going to happen? I talked to one of the teachers there. She gives me another doctor's number because the other doctor didn't even tell me, like, what's wrong with me. Should I be back at school or not? I have no information on what's supposed to be happening with me at this time. So new doctor, he's like, I don't know why he gave you pneumonia medicine because you don't have pneumonia. The test didn't show you had pneumonia. You probably had like flu-like symptoms, but you didn't have pneumonia. So I'm like, what? So I'm taking all this medicine. By this time, I already finished everything. I have a helper, and I asked her, she looked at your medicine. She's like, ma'am, you have pneumonia. She said, I've taken this medicine before. I said, but why does it make your heart feel this way? She was like, well, they gave me only 5 milligrams. You're taking 50 milligrams. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, this is partly why I feel like I'm dying. Not because I'm actually dying, but because the medicine they give me is like nothing that I actually need. Like, why did I have to take all of this? So the doctor, he's like, well, tell me about everything. So I go through the same thing I would the other. I tell him all the places I've been, how I've been feeling, tell him I took the medicine, all of that. So he's like, well, based on where, he said, you definitely don't have pneumonia. Your test came back fine. You don't have any holes in your lungs or nothing to be, inflammation in your lungs, none of that based on that x-ray. Blood test came back fine. But it does show you have some type of infection, like you are sick based on it. So I'm like, okay, we know I'm sick. Okay, like what's going to go on from here? He said, well, stop taking the medicine that he gave you. I'm like, I'm already done at this point. Like all the medicine is done. So I'm like, cool. So he's like, based on where you've been, though, it's protocol for me to get you tested for the coronavirus. So I'm like, what? Like, do I have it? Like, so now I'm freaking out because, like, even though coronavirus has been a thing, that's why I initially went to the doctor because all the time the other doctor didn't say anything about it, like what I was supposed to do. And I'm like, so I'm freaking out. He's like, yeah, I'm going to have to call the emergency room and you're going to have to get transported over there.